Ma, 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 ma. Hey everyone, this is Drew. Today on Camp Pencil Point, Joe Foo will draw a sketch of Bambino, the lead character to the Pixar short La Luna. Today is an Octopus House Activity. Ba-bam! So don't be discouraged if you can't keep up. Just have fun, okay? Alright, let's start. Uncle Sigmund, hit that harmonica music! Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, otters and dragons and octopi, my name is Joe Foo, and I am the director here at Camp Pencil Point, a place where we draw using nonsense and tomfoolery. Today I'm joined by my very good friend Drew T. Droctopus, and I am joined by all of you out there, the Camp Pencil Pointers at home watching us. Won't you sketch with us? Doesn't matter what age you are. You could be the age of 3, you could be the age of 30, you could be the age of 300. Whatever age you are, just grab your art supplies, whether it's your pen, your pencils, your brushes, your paints, your markers, that goo that your Uncle Bob puts in his hair every Thursday night. Kind of smells like pickles. Grab your art supplies, whatever they are, and sketch along with us. And parents, we encourage you to sketch with your kids because creativity is always better when it's a shared experience. And speaking of sharing, please share Camp Pencil Point with your friends and family. Share the website, CampPencilPoint.com, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So if you've been following the activities over the past couple of weeks, I went to Pixar Pier. The opening day, the opening weekend, I should say, of Pixar Pier was modded by a lot of people. I wanted to do a drawing video there. Didn't happen. So I just came back here to the studio and decided to do the drawing video here. So the drawing is based on the Pixar short La Luna, written and directed by a very, very talented artist named Enrico Casarosa. I'm a big fan. So I drew the character, the main character of Bambino from that Pixar short. So if you follow me on Instagram, or if you follow Drew on Instagram or Facebook, you would have seen a drawing tutorial I did. And you'll see it in a second when we switch to the overhead view. You will see some thumbnail sketches that I drew, thinking of a concept of how this sketch of Bambino will look. If you tuned in for the last drawing video, I drew Bambino using very simple shapes, and I figured out how to construct him the simplest way possible. And if you want to check either of those out, you can follow me on Instagram, and the link is in the description below, or the link for the previous video is also in the description below. So click on that if you're interested in seeing constructing this character. But without further ado, I'm going to go over to Luxo Jr., the overhead camera view, and we are going to draw a final sketch of the character of Bambino from the Pixar short La Luna. Okay guys, let's start the drawing part of this. As you have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, the conceptual thumbnail sketch that I drew, and I said I like that layout a lot. I might make some changes to it going into the final sketch. This was a warm-up sketch I did in the previous YouTube video where I broke Bambino, the character of Bambino, down into simple shapes. So I have an easier chance at building this character now that I know a simple breakdown of his look. So let's get started on the drawing. I'm going to move my guys first of all. I'm going to move my supplies. I'm going to use a Kuretake pen. I'm also going to use a Jelly Roll pen, which I've become quite fond of lately. I'm going to move my 2 conceptual sketches, and I'm going to go right to my clean blank piece of paper. I'm going to do a layout, basically, I'm going to do a basic layout using my Papermate pen, the Hulk today, and I'm going to go in the end and use my Chartpak markers. So I have a various array of cool grays, and I also have some colors in Prismacolor as well. So I'm going to try to use that for the background. This is violet blue. We'll see how it goes. It might give me it's kind of dry, so it might give me kind of a dry brush look. I will also use, a little sneak peek, I'll also use a liquid gold paint pen to kind of put finishing touches on there. But let's start with the gesture drawing. I'm going to start with a line of action and the head of the character of Bambino. And place the eyes right away. And notice again, using simple shapes, as in the previous video, to build my character. And I'm keeping the gesture as loose as possible. I'm trying to get in all the necessary components that I want, all the elements. This big anchor, for example, has to fit into the composition, and I want him holding it. But I'm keeping it rough to keep the character alive, to keep him happy and kind of moving. I'm just going to take that out just so I don't forget. And I don't want to go too far into the gesture part of it all, because like I said, that starts eliminating all the fun, I guess. All the movement, all the simplicity of it. So let's go right into the inking process. I'm going to use a little bit of a thicker tip on this as opposed to the fine point Kuretake. And as I go into this line work, I want to keep in mind the excitement, the wide-eyed wonder of the character of Bambino. I'm going to turn it just a little bit. And there's a bit of a nervousness to the character. There's a bit of fear, but at the same time, there's a lot of excitement, curiosity, and even though he's nervous, there's a fearlessness of doing things his way and making his own path on the world by making his own tradition. I think it's a lovely message, and it's a very charming story. And that is why it is one of my favorite Pixar shorts. I'm hoping you could see the thick and thin that I'm getting by using this particular pen. At first, I was not into the thickness of the line that I got out of this. And then it became something that really I wouldn't want to draw without this style of line, this thick line. And this pen, the greatness of this pen is it gives me a chance to really push thick and thins. And that helps build texture. One thing I like to do that you might see me doing a lot is when I draw a line like that, I break it. And that is so I could create these little nooks and create a nice texture for this anchor that Bambino is holding. I'm going to turn it just a little bit more. I apologize for those of you watching if you have to crane your neck or whatever, but know that you can turn your drawings around to make things a little easier for you if need be. I was thinking about going in with a little more, maybe I will go in with a little more guideline, because I did rough this out a little too much. It's a little too rough. And I want to make it easier on myself as opposed to making it not as easy. So a better understanding of his arm, the sleeves is very helpful. And lastly, his overalls. And I think I'm done with the ink. So now let's go over quickly with an eraser to take out my line work. I'm going to go in. Now I think this marker is going to give me a little bit of a dry brush feel. So I might go over it a few times with a couple of other colors just to smooth it out. But let's see what it does. The story of La Luna takes place at night, where a grandfather, a father, and a little boy go out to harvest or clean up stars that have fallen on the moon. Which is why I am using this dark blue for the background to give the idea that it's night. And given the idea that it is a dark blue in the background, I want to use the value system to its full advantage. So, values in the character of Bambino, unless I want them to fade in the background, the values will be light. Which means I'll use mostly light colors in the character. And let's say there's something I would like to have faded into the background. I would use dark colors. As you can see, the marker's getting a little tired, but we'll continue to use it as much as we can. And I think it'll pull out for the rest of this. And if not, I will use another color. I want to turn him around upside down just to be able to get into some of these areas a little better. No, I actually don't mind this texture too much. There's something to be said about a soft texture or a rough, coarse texture. Everything that goes into your artwork helps add to the character. So we have a character, Bambino, and actually if you follow Enrico Casarosa's his artwork, there is a roughness to it. There's a rough quality to it that adds to the charm of it all. And I've said in previous videos, I think he's very heavily inspired by Miyazaki, who is not always smooth with he's not as slick. His final art's not always super slick. So that does add to a little bit of the charm, but the texture might be a little distracting. So I'm going to go in with a Chartpak, which commonly are a lot, got a lot more wetness to them. So it's almost like going in, if you're doing a watercolor, it's like going in with a layer of water to soften it all up. And you can see that texture kind of getting a little less distracting. I'm not eliminating the texture altogether. I'm not making it totally a smooth surface, but I am making it a little softer so that it is not as distracting. There's a lot of browns in this character. So I'm going to go in with a Chartpak brown. I'm going to do the hat, his overalls, and his hair. And I believe his eyes might be brown, but I'm not 100% sure. I should have researched it before should have watched that short again before I started this video, but it's okay. If need be, we'll take some artistic license and make his eyes brown. And there goes his eyes. And like I said, the overalls are brown as well. So now it's a pretty consistent shade of brown, and I'm just going to go in with a little bit of blue. You're probably wondering why I wouldn't go in with a gray to make it a darker tone. I think it just adds to that blue reflective. It reflects the blue sky, that's what I'm trying to say, in the background. So that little hint of blue color really helps tie things together. And now I can go in with the gray just to darken that value, to add some separation to everything. Now, your initial move might be to go for a bright red for the tongue. And I'm going to go with a darker purple, a mulberry color with my Prismacolor, because it is nighttime, and if I had a bright red tongue in his mouth, it would look odd. And last thing I'm going to put some value into now is I'm going to go from between a number 3 and a number 5. I'm going to start with my 3 gray. And it's going to hopefully dry a lot lighter than that background. And even if not, my white pencil and my white gel pen will help pop that forward. And a fun thing you can do with markers is work on them while they're still wet on your paper. And while they're still wet, you can go in with a darker color, and it kind of will dissipate a little bit. And it'll create a nice soft shape. And you can go in with the lighter color again to soften it up even more. But I'm even going to go in with a darker, like a cool gray 8, and see if I could create some more texture. And once again, lighten up with that 5. And the 3 to really blend it. I don't want to blend it completely gone, so it's totally soft, but I will go in a bit to bring out some of that texture a little better. I can blend this all day, so I'm going to stop. Or else it'll just be drawing anchors. Alright. Now I'm going to go with a white pencil. I'll use my Prismacolor. White pencil, I like the Prismacolors the best. I think they give you a very nice texture. And I'm not going to fill in anything. I'm just going to put accents as much as possible where I see fit. And I shouldn't say as much as possible. Where I see fit is a better way to say it. Because I could fill this whole thing up with white, and it'll lose the white would be overkill, and you want it to be just right as far as what you put in. And once I go in with my gel pen, that will determine a lot too. So now he's starting to come together. Let's finish him off. And I'm going to use my gel pen, which is my Jelly Roll pen right here. And a thing I have been doing lately, and you have to go slow, is to help the character pop off, is hit him or her with an outline. And you got to give your gel pen a little bit of time to catch up, to make sure it applies properly. I'm sorry, hopefully I'm not making people sick by spinning my drawing around like so. But sometimes it's just easier to move your drawing as opposed to moving yourself. What I had mentioned earlier in the video was popping off the colors, making things separate from the background, and that is one. It is definitely a trick. It's a technique. You don't want to overkill it, but one thing you can do is drop this outline around your character to really give him that separation from that background. And I think it also gives a little bit of a finished feel. And one thing about these gel pens is if you work too quickly, it doesn't pick up. You lose it. I think I'm going to finish it, just to finish it around that hat, just to have a little bit of consistency. If you do go too fast, it won't pick up. Sometimes it works to your advantage. If you want a thinner, because you're going to get a consistent line no matter what you do with a gel pen. There's no thick or thin unless you start restating it and go over it again and again, which is not always the best thing to do. Sometimes it looks forced, doesn't look as smooth. So one way to achieve line quality with a gel pen is to go quick or to go slow and allow the lightness or the thinness of the ink to determine what your line quality is. So one thing that I like to do is go in with a little bit of highlights. And like I said, if you let your gel pen kind of sit there for a very long time, it'll create a nice solid white. Let's pop some of these other parts off as best we can. A little highlight to the ear. And we're going to go into some of the white areas that I've already done and define them a little bit more. One thing that's nice about this gel pen is it creates a little bit of definition to help pull everything together. So the last step, I'm going to use my liquid gold, and hopefully it won't explode all over Bambino. But I'm going to use it very sparingly, and I'm just going to dot my background. And this will give the appearance, the idea that there are stars in the back. And I'm keeping this simple. I'm not overdoing it. I'm not drawing out star shapes or anything like that because I think that would fight your focal point, which will be Bambino's face. And sometimes the simplest things are all you need. So there is my starry background. Let me put a signature down here. I'm going to do it in white. And there he is, completed. Finally got it done. There is the character of Bambino from the Pixar short La Luna. There he is, everyone. Bambino from the Pixar short La Luna. Very happy to get this done. It was a lot of steps, a lot of process. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram right here at Joe Foo 22. You could also follow Drew T. Droctopus because he posted up the videos as well. Drew T. Droctopus. And if you're on Facebook, you could also follow Drew T. Droctopus on Facebook at that same handle. The videos are up there as well. But on the YouTube/Facebook video, I drew the concept, the thumbnail of what this final sketch would be. In the previous drawing video here on YouTube, I drew a basic construction and got familiar with drawing the character of Bambino so that I could go into this final sketch with as much practice and as much knowledge as I could. So let's see what you guys can do. Pick your favorite character from a Pixar short, a Disney movie, your backyard, cat, dog, that raccoon that steals all your cheese. You can draw him too. Whatever you do, sketch out your favorite character, take a picture of it, post it to social media, use this hashtag right here, CampPencilPoint. All the artists at CampPencilPoint will keep an eye out for this hashtag, and if we find your art, we will like it and we will comment on it. Special announcement, even better, if you do that sketch, bring it to us in Dearborn, Michigan at the Henry Ford Museum for Detroit Maker Faire. This will happen July 28th and 29th of 2018. And well, it's our biggest show of the year. We actually have a very large drawing area where you can draw with us. You can play drawing games with us. You can meet all the artists. You can take selfies with us, and you can show us what you draw. So please, if you're in town, Dearborn, Michigan, please stop by Detroit Maker Faire. We'll be doing drawing sessions like every half hour, every hour. And please stop by, say hi, and hang out with us. More information is in the description below, and you can find, as always, more information on CampPencilPoint.com. Well, thank you all. Thank you for joining us today. We sure had a blast. We hope you had fun too. Remember to draw for at least 20 minutes every day. This will keep your pencils dull, but your skills sharp. Support the arts and support your favorite artist on social media by liking their stuff, commenting on their stuff, and sharing their stuff, but giving proper credit. Finally, but most importantly, never stop creating and never stop inspiring. Until next time, everyone, we'll see you soon. See you all soon at Detroit Maker Faire.